It is now an absolute necessity. If you do not get reparations soon, black folk, as I told you before, are through. Reparation is not a nicety, it's a necessity. What are the conditions? What are the conditions that precipitated black folk getting into this dilemma? And what black labor, white wealth did, it tracked 800 years of history in very systematic terms to show you every strategy, every technique, every law, every public custom, and every public policy that was used to enslave black folk around the world and to maldistribute almost 100% of all this nation's wealth, power, resource, privileges, businesses, and controls of all levels of government into the hands of the dominant white society. And what slavery and Jim Crow segregation did with black folk, it intentionally maldistributed all the resources away from black folk and created a real-life monopoly game. Black folk in America are playing in a real-life monopoly game that you're totally ill-prepared to play and win.
Peace, love, and reparations, man. Welcome to Black Star TV 2.0. It's your boy. You already know. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, that share button. If you already subscribed, man, I appreciate the love and support. It's this article that I want to break down today, family. And I also want to show you a little video of Dr. Claude Anderson, a little clip of Dr. Claude Anderson, and how it kind of coincides of what's going on in this article. And there's a couple points in this article that I want to break down too. So let me share my screen, man. Make sure y'all check out the podcast too, family. I hope y'all had a good week or a good day also. Let's get into this real quick. So a man was wrongfully imprisoned for over 18 years, despite a botched identification, has been freed, right? So after 18 years, this man has been locked up. They finally freed him. And I feel like this is one of the major points that I had with this, because I feel as though when it comes to that appeal process, the appeal process is way too long. It's way, way, way too long. And it's funny because in the beginning of the appeal process, like soon as you get convicted and you get found guilty or whatever, you have like 30 days to start your appeal, to even file for the appeal and like that. So it's like, it's so many little time limits, especially, and even after once you file it, then there's another time limit, then there's another time limit, and there's just like, but the funny part about it is that these time limits be taking long as hell. Like after you do one, you have a time limit to do the next step, but then that next step takes long as hell anyway. So why do you only have a little bit of time to even do it? Meanwhile, watch this. You don't use the same lawyer that you had to file that's going to do your appeal. They might file an appeal for you, but they're not going to be the actual one to do your appeal. You need an appeals attorney, right? Which is a whole nother, like, that's what I'm saying. But it's so many different levels. And then as you getting transported from one prison to the next and things like this, right? Paperwork getting slowed down. You got to wait for your mail that was going to this jail to get to this jail. Listen, bro, and mind you, still on this stupid ass time limit. So, man, listen, bro, it's always, and every time you move somewhere, you have to contact that lawyer, right? You have to contact the lawyer that you do have, or to let them know that you done moved to a different facility, and you have to within a certain amount of time. Man, it's just a whole bunch with that whole process, and the simple fact that it takes super long is, I just always thought was crazy. But let's get into this real quick. So dude was wrongfully convicted after 19 years, spent almost 19 years in there. This happened on, I don't want to read the whole thing because I just want to read little pieces of it. But again, this happened on Christmas Eve. He was convicted for killing a 14-year-old boy on Christmas Eve in 2004 in New York. Now, watch this though. When the botched identification came out in court at the time, a judge said that there was still probable cause for the arrest, and that the photo had enough resemblance of Gonzalez. Well, Gonzalez said, excuse me, right? So again, even after the botched identification came out, the judge still said that there was probable cause, because once you claim that there's not probable cause, like that case goes away, right? This is why they always have to have probable cause. And this is why it's hard to get a probable cause hearing, Yo, real talk. It's hard to get a probable cause hearing in court. I remember in New Jersey trying to get a probable cause hearing. The moment I filed for the probable cause hearing, they indicted me. And now you can't get the probable cause hearing, which people don't understand. Now you got to try to challenge the indictment, right? But like, man, it's just so much. It's just so much to that whole. That's why I said this is kangaroo court that we be dealing with. So let me read some more, right? Thomas was only 17 when he was arrested and charged with the murder. All right, so it says Gonzalez said that the case against Thomas was compromised from the very start by grave errors and lack of probable cause to arrest Mr. Thomas. See, again, now watch. There was lack of probable cause to arrest him. So that means that falls, the lack of probable cause of arresting him falls on the police. Now watch. When we was just up there, they said despite the identification error, right, the judge was still allowing it to proceed, right, despite not the probable cause being some BS. This is what I mean by how all this shit, this whole judicial system is just corrupt, all in its, just all together. Every facet of it, from the police to the lawyers to the prosecutors to the judges to the damn correctional officers. Corrupt. You feel me? But that's what I'm saying. This is why things go on like this, because you have everybody working together all in a sense. And it's like, yo, you done, dog. You done. So look, so watch this, right? So it says it was compromised from the very start and grave errors and lacked probable cause to arrest Mr. Thompson. He was further deprived of his due process rights when the prosecution proceeded even after the erroneous identification came to light and making his conviction fundamentally unfair. So right just now, watch this. They said the probable cause to arrest was errors. That's the police. They just set up here, right, that a judge said there was still probable cause for the arrest after the botched identification, right? So you got the police, the judge, and now right here is saying he was further deprived of his due process rights when the prosecution proceeded. So you got the prosecution, the judge, and the police, right? And then you also have low key, and this is speculation to an extent, right? His lawyer, because they ain't saying nothing about, yo, his lawyer said such and such and such and such, and the judge just ignored him. No, because there'd be a whole lot of people not speaking up and objecting to a lot of things that be going on in the court, right? So there's so many times. No, I didn't want to read that because he's just talking about how they was cheating and he was speechless. Trust me, I wasn't speechless when they was cheating my black ass. But hold on, I want to okay, so it says detectives asked to use a photo of Thomas from a gun arrest months earlier so they could show an eyewitness as part of an array of photos, right? Before they obtained that photo, the detectives decided to pull a photo from the police database that was in fact a different Sheldon Thomas, according to the office, right? So I guess these are the two photos, right, family? These are the two photos. And it said detectives went to Thomas's address, not that of the Sheldon Thomas whose photo was actually used, and arrested him, according to the report in the DA's conviction of reversal unit. And it's so funny how they be having all these units and all this stupid shit. That shit comes all later after the fact of years and years and years of you waiting for your case to get overturned. 2 others was also arrested in the connection with the killing. I want to get down to this other stuff though, but right here, right? So it says that the same eyewitness then identified Thomas in a police lineup, not knowing that the photo and the person she saw in the lineup were 2 different people. Again, these were police botching stuff, cheating, the police cheating, then you had the prosecutor cheating, then you had the judge who's the referee who's allowing people to just get all this cheating off, who's not stopping stuff, who's not objecting, saying, yo, you know what? You can't do that. But what they do, like they did in my case in New Jersey, where they tell the prosecutor, right? Can't we just infer that they said Mr. Adams' name? Like, no, we can't infer. We can't infer. You over here helping them out, but you're supposed to be a referee, not a help. You see what I'm saying? And this is what goes on. See, they'll jump in for the prosecutor, but they'll sit back while the prosecutor do some BS and just allow the public pretender to sit back and not say nothing, and the judge won't sit back and say nothing because he didn't say anything or she didn't say anything, right? So it says, during the pretrial hearing in 2006, the detective on the case admitted during the cross-examination that he used the photo of the wrong Sheldon Thomas, admitting that he falsely testified. Gonzalez said, cop falsely testifying. Another detective then said Thomas told them he was not the man in the photo, according to DA. And watch this. Because I know a lot of people be like, well, how the judge know he was lying and all this other stuff, but the judge knows about due process, even regardless of this, because there was multiple errors. There was multiple errors in this case. And it was multiple times that the judge could have been like, yo, you know what? Nah, y'all violated his due process with this photo. Y'all violated his due process by even, skipping over that and bringing it in and this, that, and the third or whatever what was going on, but y'all had the opportunity, right? Let me read some more, man. So it says, at the time, the judge said there was still probable cause because of the anonymous tips, adding that the photo resembled Thomas despite it being of a different person. That's crazy, and still allowed it. The person resembled them, even though the person was different, and family, listen. I'm going to go let us listen to Dr. Claude Anderson real quick, right? Because what Dr. Claude Anderson is talking about has to do with laws and the Constitution and things like that, because that's what we're under right now. A lot of this be running up under that. So let me share this real quick. And let's listen to our brother, Dr. Claude Anderson, for a second.
Your first statement was right on point. First of all, it was by design. Your Constitution itself boxed black folk in. We've been boxed in by the United States Constitution because the original Constitution spelled out specifically how black folk would be treated in this country. You just mentioned something about we come here searching for life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That was not what it was talking about originally in the Constitution. Originally, when Jefferson and Madison wrote the U.S. Constitution, they were talking about life, liberty, and pursuit of property. Because in the Constitution, black folk were defined as property. 3/5 of a human being equal to a field animal, and you were treated as property. There's nothing in the Constitution that addresses the issues for black folk. We are locked and boxed into the Constitution. And until we go back and address that issue, black folk can never get out of it. And you can't get out of it secondarily, out of this box, because the United States Supreme Court put the lock.
If you don't go back and address the issue, you will be locked in box. Now watch.
Lock on the box. United States Supreme Court right now says, let's go back.
And he said the United States Supreme Court put the lock on the box. The Supreme Court, which is the court, the same court systems. Hold on.
The original intent of the Constitution, which says black folks should be 3/5 of a human being, property, and equal to a field animal. That's throughout the Constitution. It's never changed. And the United States Supreme Court then, in the Madison and Marbury decision of 1803, says that we're going to make sure that we abide by that. And then later on in 1857, in the Dred Scott decision, says black folk have no rights that white folks are bound to respect. The Constitution have you locked and boxed, and the United States Supreme Court can make sure you never get out of that box. That is the most racist organization in America. 57 of the first people appointed to the United States Supreme Court were slave owners. And subsequently, most of them have been racist. So you're not going to get out of the box unless you go back and address these issues structurally on behalf of black folk.
I'd like to think that I'm...
See? So, unless we address that structurally, right, we have to address the Constitution, or we're going to be stuck in these boxes with these people doing this goofiness where, you know, a person is committing a crime and he didn't even do it. The police setting them up. They setting them up. Hold on, bud. I'm going to call you right back right after I finish the video, okay? I'm almost done. All right. And sorry, family. And yeah, so you got all these people, the police, the prosecutor, the lawyer, all this. And that's why I said, that's why he just said the most racist you know, entity in the United States is the Supreme Court, right? And again, watch this. When you're overturning your cases, right? When you overturn your cases, when they get overturned in state court, they wind up going to federal court. And then the last is the Supreme Court, right? It's the Supreme Court, the supreme law of the land, right? So that's what's going on, family. And I'm gonna wind up letting y'all go because I do gotta hit my kids up. But listen, watch this. It says each of these errors on its own deprived the defendant of a fair trial, the report concluded. Together, the errors undermined the integrity of the entire judicial process and the defendant's resulting conviction. Right? So since 2014, the unit's work has resulted in 34 convictions being vacated. There are currently 50 open investigations, according to the DA's office. We strive to ensure the fairness and integrity in every case and have the courage to correct mistakes from the past. Nobody trying to hear that bullshit. It's so many people, right? Let me go back here. It's so many people, you know, that's locked up for some stuff they didn't do. You know what I mean? And we have this process that's like so racist, so like you know, orchestrated in a way to make you not be able to beat the process for real. It's like so long and stringent, and it's like so many ways that you can mess your appeal up. You know, it's so many ways. I'm talking about miss one of those timelines, miss one timeline, and that all that goes out the window. Your chance of ever correcting that mistake is out of there. You feel what I'm saying? And they know that because they know the majority of the people don't have the finances, number one, and don't have the time, number two, to sit there and fight you over some stuff that like happened. Like again, because I've known a lot of people who, right, after a while they got some time back, or you feel me, they were sentenced to too much time, or you know, they got released because, you know, their charges was overturned or whatever. You know, people be saying that, but they don't ever go do it. Like they get out and, you know, the process is long and stringent and people trying to get back to their life. They done forgot about all that shit and they ain't really worried about it now. You feel what I'm saying? You start getting out and you around people and you around, you know what I mean? You around your family and shit like that. You trying to forget about that whole issue and get your life back on track. You so focused with getting your life back on track and you really don't have the finances to be trying to fight these people in court on a pill or on a what you call that, on a civil case. You feel what I'm saying? So I just wanted to bring that up because, you know, I've been talking about the judicial system for a long time, man, and that shit is just so corrupt, Barry. And we need a new system. We definitely need a new system. We need to be able to police ourselves and have our own courts, have our own stuff with our own laws and our own rules, because we're not going to just be putting our people away for life in a environment that's absolutely going to make them worse. Nobody can tell me that the prison environment is psychologically making people better. And if you're not psychologically better, dog, you're not better in general. You telling me you're going to get out psychologically worse and be a better person? Because that shit don't even make sense. You feel me? So, all right, family, I'm going to let y'all go, man. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that share button, man. I'm going to get up out of here, man. Gotta go hit my kids up real fast. Man, y'all be easy, man. We up out of here. Peace.